Hello and welcome guys to the All or Nothing Invitationals number 2. I am Pulse and I am joined by C-Zone. Good morning, C-Zone.
Well, yeah, it's morning somewhere, I guess.
Yes,
Hello,
you're getting it.
I'm starting to get it. I guess it's morning in Australia.
It's morning in America at the moment, shouldn't it?
America's
8 hours behind.
Like afternoon.
Yeah, no. 8 hours behind, dude. For sure.
Oh yeah, it's 10 o'clock still.
Good job, C-Zone. Well played.
Yeah, blah blah. Master C-Zone, you mad?
No, not really. But anyway, now that awkwardness is out of the way, we have Sona, Orianna, Shen as the first couple of bands. That will be from Fnatic, Jace, Rengar, and Yorick from Replika. So, of course, Replika will be on the right-hand side, and Replika RC will be on the left-hand side. Left and right, that's correct. So, take me through some of these bands, C-Zone.
Well, Sona, Shen, Jace, Rengar, and Yorick are pretty standard bands. Yorick not so much, actually, because Yorick kind of got nerfed pretty badly. And Orianna is an interesting band. You don't really see that much. First pick is going to be Lee Sin. That is kind of surprising. I would expect a Ezreal first pick. Then again, Cyanide has been doing very well with that Lee Sin, so it kind of makes sense.
That is true, but just as you said it, we will have an Ezreal pickup, because Ezreal, as we all know at the moment, is pretty much regarded to be the best AD carry pick at the moment. And of course, Lee Sin is very strong, but honestly, it's not something that I'd really expect Replika to pick up as like at least one of their first picks. Maybe they're honestly thinking that they can use that Lee Sin to potentially shut down Ezreal, but Ezreal's is so slippery as an AD carry. Very difficult to gank in the early game, despite Lee Sin having a lot of early game damage and early game presence in the jungle. I don't know, it's an interesting pick as you said, but maybe they're just confident that they didn't really need that Ezreal pick. And of course, we will actually have Candy Panda in Fnatic. That is interesting. Candy Panda, see if that is legitimately the real Candy Panda. Ah, it is, interesting. So yeah, N-Rated will be picking up that Zyra. That could be another Zyra support. We have seen N-Rated in that support role taking that Zyra to great success in the past, so we'll see how that goes for them, and waiting for the next couple picks from a Replika.
Well, Candy Panda's sub, by the way, for anyone that's wondering, he is not the new AD carry or anything. He did get kicked out of Mouse Esports, so he might be joining Fnatic, but no one knows for sure. And Zara is probably just going to go to Beckett, because Beckett plays a very, very good Zara, and foams like a beast on her. It is quite ridiculous. I've seen him out farming Alex Each. That kind of says something. He's a very, very good Zara. And Sivir is kind of interesting, because Sivir is usually considered not that good, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes, I guess. And on the other side, Veigar. Huh. That is new.
Actually going to be a swap up.
No, yeah. Okay, Syndra. Syndra, that's new too, but that's going to be interesting. Syndra only just got out. I honestly have no idea how that champion works, so disregard anything I say on her. Except for that, I know that she can throw means around, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe she has a couple interesting hidden passives as well. If you throw the blue buff, you get some mana refunded, and if you throw the red buff, you can actually ignite people with that debuff, which is kind of interesting as an AoE, which could potentially be something that's interesting, like an invade, but we'll see how that goes. Syndra is generally regarded to be pretty weak at the moment, but on release everyone was just like, oh, she's really underpowered, and no one has touched her. Like, on release, people were just not going anywhere near Syndra. Honestly, when she was released, I had the idea that she was going to be, and basically have Jace syndrome, where she was super strong and no one really knew it, because with Jace, he was around for a long time before people were like, oh, Jace does a lot of damage, better play him. And then like we just saw a huge influx of top lane players taking that Jace and using him to great success. With Syndra, I still feel the same is true, but a lot of it is single target, and well, a lot of single target mages at the moment are just not all that strong because they are simply single target. Like, you have to have a lot of damage for that really to pay off, and you have to snowball well. We will actually have a Scion pickup from Fnatic along with the Zillion, so a lot of interesting picks coming out. And also to comment on that Sivir, because you're commenting on that before, Sivir does the most damage over a 10-second period of any AD carry because of the attack timer reset, the Q as well. Huge damage, massive burst in lane, but she really needs a synergy from her support. Like, she needs a stun or some sort of hard CC to follow up that boomerang blade. But again, as you said, very interesting pick. It's definitely out of the convention. And Rocco Mozilla will be leaving the champion select, probably just some sort of climb bug, and we will be jumping back into that soon.
Okay, so it might actually have been a placeholder somewhere. We did see a Cyan pickup, which would be kind of interesting. Ah, Syndra is Janna. There we go. That makes a lot more sense.
That is disappointing. That is disappointing. It's it's kind of funny to me how they're using Syndra as like a placeholder pick because they only use like placeholders as like super bad characters. I'm surprised that Swajani is not really being used as a placeholder because Swajani is definitely considered to be like the worst character at the moment. It's kind of sad that Syndra's being relegated to that role.
Malzahar is way worse though because like Sejuani, her ultimate is really good, so she has one spell. Malzahar has no spells that are good. So Malzahar would make more sense in my opinion.
You can't argue. You can't argue that Malzahar is like worse than Swajani. Swajani can't even clear the jungle season.
But Malzahar can't do anything in teamfights. It's like the only thing he has. You press 1 because you have a Quicksilver Sash and he can't do anything.
At least he can lane. So, like Swajani will get murdered at level 3 by the Wraiths. You can't argue that any other character is worse than that. I think even Karma jungle does better.
Oh well. But yeah, it is actually going to be a Zilean pickup as well, so it is going to be Syndra or a Zara support. So you completely owned me there. And Zilean and Cyan. That is actually a very interesting combination because Cyan, the problem with Cyan is that if you build him AP, he's gonna fall off pretty quickly. If you build him AD, it takes really long before he can do anything. But with the Zilean ultimate, you'll be able to revive him, so that might actually go really well if he goes for that AD path. I'm wondering how he does against Aurelia though. I would assume that Aurelia... Actually, it's interesting. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I guess we'll have to watch the top lane quite a bit. What do you think that's gonna happen with that Scion?
A Scion? It honestly could be a support Scion. I'm just looking at the setup right now. Honestly, I think we should probably check the rune pages and masteries. Let's go ahead and do that for Soaz. But Soaz is a top laner, so yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. It's kind of weird. Okay, let's take a look.
Well, 80 Scion with Zilean, I could see that work actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jack principle, but we will have 15 armor penetration, 13 armor, 8.1 health regen per 5, and 24 magic resist at level 18. That'll be scaling on the glyphs. Masteries will be 29, going for the AD, so it will be the AD Scion, and going down to Veteran's Guards as well for the extra health. But yeah, I can definitely see it, yeah, because you have the Jax principle. That being said, what does Scion really have that Jax doesn't? And Jax has that really... His kit is really suited towards just going like 1v5. That being said, like Sion's ultimate is really, really nice for that situation, but either way, it's quite interesting.
Well, he does have that ultimate, which gives him lots of lifesteal. There we go. I think for a second there, but he does get really strong late game. Like pretty much everyone agrees that AD Cyan late game is just a complete dump fest on everyone. It's just that he'll probably get kited, and it takes him way too long to get to that late game. But it'll be interesting to see how Soaz does. He is a very good player, so maybe he'll be able to pull it up. I am very much looking forward to seeing it, to be honest.
Yeah, it should definitely be an interesting pickup.
I mean, Cyan is kind of early on, and Aurelia can probably abuse that. So it'll be interesting to see how that top lane goes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so as we tick on to the delay timer, we will be jumping to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be in round 1 of the All or Nothing Invitationals between Replika and Fnatic. See you soon, guys. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back, guys, to the first round of the All or Nothing Invitationals number 2, 1,000 euros up for grabs. I am Pulse and I am joined by the lovely C-Zone. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing really well now that you call me lovely. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was only slightly awkward. Anyway, we're going to be going into this game, and everyone's going to be starting with boots except for the Janna, as per usual. And it's going to be any invite. There is a Sion on their team as well as a Zara. This is a very good level 1, actually. With that stun and that snare, they can definitely do something. And so it's going to be face jacking. It's going to get stunned immediately though, and will probably be going down. The snare comes down on multiple people. He has to use the shield. Smart that he didn't pick up that stun, and he's going to be okay. Replika taking a bit of damage there. That was really well done by Soas. Well, sort of. He face jacked, which was less good, but he went for a shield, which was really smart. Didn't even have to use his heal.
Yeah, they played that really well. Like, N-Rated grasping roots hit like 3-4 people, and it just completely stopped everyone in their tracks. It may have only hit 2 people, but it was the fact that you had 2 rooted characters. Like, the rest of the team couldn't even actually get past those guys who were rooted in place because of the block, because, you know, characters can't move through each other. So that was really well played. And Kazmich in the bush, he hasn't actually noticed them. They're going to walk straight past him. He will be snared by the grasping root. First blood for Severe with that auto attack picking up, with Cyanide chiming in there with the resonating strike. Just throwing a few things into the brush. But honestly, they're probably going to go back. And the bot lane's going to go back as well. Picking up the first bird will give them a massive advantage in lane. And honestly, they don't need to stay. Or they're going to, actually, with the 3-man invade. They know Irelia's probably gone top, but still going to be 4 versus 3. Unless they wait for a Nivea, they could get this pick onto a Nivea. Bimbo taking a huge amount of damage. Grasping Boots goes down. Flash has been burnt. And the time bomb will finish him off into the egg form. Could put auto attacks coming out. This could be a kill. Cyanide gets his Q up. Looking for that resonating strike. A very interesting lead by Cyanide. They will be backing up. Xpeke potentially caught by Just Nerf Me, but they should be good. No real CC to keep them in place. Walled over the wall, Cyanide may be looking for the Smite Steal. Of course, he will not have level 2s for the safeguard, so he probably won't be able to get out all that safely. He has gone for the flash, though. Hasn't used it just yet. The steal is still on the cards. We're just waiting for this to happen, C-Zone. The tension in the air.
Yeah, I like the way they keep like making sure that it de-aggroes, which is kind of mean. And N-Rated just standing there going, hey, auto attacks you, man. And it looks like Skarner will be able to pick it up. It's going to get level 2. That means he gets his speed buff up. He's going to be okay, but that's... it could have gone well. Didn't go too well for Fnatic, though. And that means that Sun is going to be a bit behind. But then, if that had worked, it would have been epic. Which happens a lot in League of Legends.
Well, it was enough pressure, really, and it was a good smite, basically, from Skarner right there, but he will be backing off. He's not losing all that much, and the pressure was really, really helpful. Skarner had to loop around the entirety of his jungle, just making sure he wasn't picked up by anyone in the jungle himself. But right now, yeah, okay, so Lee Sin is going to be slightly behind, but he's picking up the red buff. He's really orientated towards that early game anyway, so he's looking for those ganks. Skarner looking to go for that fast 6, and anything they can really do to delay that. So they have a really, really strong early game team. That being said, we've spoken a lot about the synergy. We're talking about this a little bit in the break as well, and a huge amount of damage coming onto Ezreal already, flashing up red. But yeah, generally with like a hard synergizing team, you do need to get to that roaming phase as quickly as possible. I suppose they're looking to push down these turrets, and already at bottom they are zoning them out past their turret. So I guess C-Zone, what they're looking to do is just push it into an early roaming phase, so they can really get that synergy from Sion and Sevia's ultimate, and also Zilean with the speed up.
Yeah, it'll be... I'm really just looking forward to them roaming. It's going to probably be amazing. And they do have a very good roaming team. They have a very highly mobile team, and they have a lot of CC. With that Science Stun, the Zara Snare, even the slow from Zilean, that's a lot of CC that you can throw down if you play it properly. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do something with that. And right now, looks like Bimbo went back to base, has gotten himself a no magic mantle. His Ag is still not up though, so maybe Peke will be able to take him down if there is a gank from Cyanide.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. And right now, just really interested in that top lane. So we have Sion versus Irelia, and Sion, I'm not really sure how he matches up against anyone. We just don't see AD Sion at all anymore. And never really saw him at all, actually. We saw the AP Sion in mid, but quite a decent amount of harass. Let's take a look at his range, actually. His range seems pretty decent for a top laner. Actually, 125, so it's pretty standard. Seems to have larger range. I don't know, maybe it's because of the model size, but we do have Skarner coming in from behind. Cyanide coming out as well, looking for the Tempest into the cripple, but only some harass coming out here. Doubt they're going to get the kill onto the cards. Okay, Skarner will be juking back into them with that red buff, but again, nothing really going to happen. And meanwhile, Zilean picking up that kill onto Anivia. How did that happen, C-Zone? Did you pick that one up?
Yeah, I did pick that one. It was basically Becca going, hey, bomb, hey, another bomb. Here's Ignite, and Flash. He flashed for the bomb, and then Bimbo went down because he didn't have an Ag anymore. But yeah, I don't know if you have seen this on screen yet, but the Enrage is getting maxed first, the E of Sion, and he's already getting 45 attack damage just by having his E on. It does cost 10 health per attack, but that's...
But meanwhile, at bottom, we have an initiate onto Ezreal, and the plant will be finishing him off. Candy Panda's taking a huge amount of damage, but a heal will save his life on this occasion, and he will be probably just pushing in this lane. Well, there's a lot of burst damage coming from that bot lane, and we were talking about in the Champion Select that if Sivir is combined with a strong CC support, then a lot of damage is gonna come out. And okay, Grasping Roots is a skill shot, but if Venerated can land it, then Candy Panda's gonna follow up with so much damage. You can pretty much 70-0 any AD carry down the bot lane, and Ezreal is fairly squishy as well.
Yeah, and the Grasping Roots aren't that hard to hit. I mean, it's basically a dog binding that goes faster and can hit multiple targets. And it also goes for minions, by the way, so it's not that hard to hit. And in the meantime, still Bimbo getting so much damage in the middle thanks to those bombs from Peke. It's just pretty much unavoidable, and we've seen Zilean getting a lot more play in the competitive scene in Europe the past week or so. It started around last week in All or Nothing, and since then I've seen Zilean in almost every game.
Yeah, it's kind of because of the great synergy he brings to the team. Like, you can do so much with Zilean. Just, you can basically stomp focus from your targeted ally. Chrono Shift is basically a free Guardian Angel. And meanwhile, mid, we do have Skarner ganking. Another bomb goes on to Bimbo, and he will actually be landing this Q slow. Landed the first Q into the follow-up from Crystal Slash. Flash Ross goes down, popping Chrono Shift as well. Soaz coming in from the north. He will be stopping this from happening, quelling the storm as it were, but he should be good to go. And that Chrono Shift bringing him pretty much to full health again.
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing about Zilean that makes him so good, is that he just has an ultimate that's basically a free Guardian Angel, and we've seen M5 doing their, as Cyanide called it, Jesus composition, which is basically all of them reviving all the time. And Zilean just adds to that, and everyone can use Zilean. You don't need to be good farmers to get a Zilean in your team, so that's why it's getting used. And well, the meta in the mid lane at the moment is mostly that you farm, that you take your waves and then roam around a bit, and Zilean is perfect for that. He can instantly clear waves, he can do the waves really quickly, and with his E, the time walk, he can just get to all the lanes so quickly. It makes him a very, very good pickup for that.
Yeah, for sure. Something may happen at bottom, but it's just huge harass coming on constantly from the hands of Candy Panda. Yeah, definitely I agree. A lot of the mid lanes at the moment, what makes them a strong mid laner is that roaming capability. That's really what is the meta right now, that roaming and the poke and the kind of CD compositions. And Zillion fits into it perfectly. He's got the poke, he does kind of scale off a bit, but you then have the utility when it comes to late game. So when you have like a hard synergizing team like this, it makes a lot of sense to bring a kind of supporty mid into the scene. Definitely with like the likes of Orianna and definitely Zyra to some extent, they really have that sort of control and that sort of strong presence with just the CC and the utility that it really makes up for the fact that they don't have the raw damage of some of the other mid lanes at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, Zillion also is...
Meanwhile, boss, we have an initiate from N-rated. Candy Panda following with the huge damage onto Kazmit, picking that kill up almost instantly. Yeah, just the impressive damage. And meanwhile, top, we do have Soaz, a commitment from Mozilla. This could mean his demise. Cyanide following up, gets the Tempest into Cripple, landing the Sonic Wave into the Resonating Strike, Flash into the Dragon's Rage as well. Soaz still following after, warded, so they're maintaining the vision. Another Tempest and the Cripple. Soaz looking to follow up, and he gets the ult attack, finishing Mozilla off. And at that point, there was very little he could do to resolve the situation.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage coming out very, very quickly. Fnatic playing that very well, and Cyanide going for the Flash ultimate, not afraid to try to pull off the big plays, and being quite successful in that. And the point I was going to make is that Zillion, what he also does is, as I said before, he can push out well. That not only makes sure that he can roam, but also makes sure that the other mid laner will not be able to roam. That's another good thing about that Zillion. Looks like we're going to get a Wriggles on the sign of Soaz. That makes a lot of sense. He needs some pushing power because obviously he's not playing AP, so he can't instantly clear waves with a shield. You have to get it from some other source, and Wriggles is perfect for that. And you know,
yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Synergizes with him.
Kind of interesting he's gone for the Berserker's Greaves as well, because generally that's indicative of actually going for an AD carry build. But meanwhile, Walton Kazmit once again brought down to about 40% HP, and he had the shield on as well. So much burst from that bot lane, just catching him off guard with Zyra to the north as well, just with those grasping roots. And there's so much pressure being exerted. Like, generally Ezreal is that dominant pick, and we were saying in Champion Select how that pick from Sivir is slightly unconventional, though we are seeing a lot more at the moment. And meanwhile at top, they are just bumping heads. This could be a commitment from Soaz, actually. Mozilla going into the Activium Strike, Transcendent Blades as well, into the Ignite, forcing him to run away while he has his ultimate on, losing a couple ticks, but he will be turning this one around. Mozilla probably not being able to follow up on this, so he has juked him very nicely into the brush, follow up as well, looking for that flash, will be finishing him off with that auto attack. That was a commitment from Mozilla, he really couldn't handle it. Meanwhile, bottom, we do have Cyanide jumping into that Skarner. Does Skarner have the ultimate? The answer is a yes. And Dust Murphy missing that ultimate. Candy Pounder getting dragged into the turret. Stranglethorns goes down, knocking up the Skarner. Cyanide backing off. More damage coming out from Candy Panda, reclaiming one kill. Chronoshift goes down, keeping them alive. They have to stop the commitment, and double kill coming out for that Lee Sin, straight into that Tempest from the Resonating Strike. That was just a conglomeration of failure right there, C-Zone.
That was very well played by Candy Panda, knowing if he could go in. He probably judged that Packet would be there in time and went for that Janna. Really well done there. And Cyanide obviously playing well, because that's what he does with his Lee Sin. They're going to be going for this dragon right now. 12 minutes into the game, they'll pick up the first dragon. And that will be respawning at 18 minutes. So that's something to look for. We'll probably see another fight going down. But that was perfect play by Fnatic. Taking down bot lane and immediately going for dragon. You see teams doing that a lot, where they gank bot, take down 2 people, or even 1, and then go for the dragon. Very dominant play at the moment by Fnatic. They are 9-0. They've taken a dragon, and they're about 6k ahead, which is quite a sizable advantage at 12 minutes.
Yeah, we said this before season, that we were basically looking for them to go for that hard roaming style because they have so much synergy right in their team, just naturally. So that's what they've been doing. They've just been roaming around a lot, looking for those ganks, maybe those 4-man ganks and those group ups as well, looking for those skirmishes where they know they'll be out-synergizing their opponents, and they're actually doing really well independently just with their picks. And it's all just coming together right now, and there's very little Replika can really do to respond to the situation. And look, Candy Panda's pretty much 1v2ing them right now. Zyra coming in from the north, they do have that warded, so N-Rated effect will be slightly diminished. But even so, there's just very little Replika can do right now. If they're to catch up, what do you think they need to do?
I think that, honestly, the only thing they can really do is try to go for late game, because they do have that Olivia, they can turtle really well. But the problem is, with a Sion on the enemy team, and the Zilean as well, I don't think that going for late game is the best thing to do. Maybe they'll be able to just go for kiting, because they do have Anivia, as I said, and Anivia's next to Ashe, the Queen of Kiting. So they might be able to kite out that Sion, and they might be able to sort of kite out the Lee Sin. But I think that's the only thing they can really do, go for late game and try to win team points through kiting.
That fault, because meanwhile top Soaz is jumping on to Mozilla along with Cyanide, and that'll be a quick kill, quick pickup, and once again, very little they can do about that. Meanwhile, bottom, Just Nerf Me getting blown up with the Strangle Force into the Boomerang Blade combo. Just Nerf Me will be surviving on just below for 100 HP, maybe less than that. Monsoon was keeping him alive during that trade. And they're pretty much free, 2 versus 3 right there, and there's nothing Scarlet can do. Grasping Roots goes down. Candy Powder looking to finish up the turret, looking for the Fracture to refresh that shield, or take it down and get the mana refunded, but now chasing on to Kazmich, extra movement speed from the ultimate and the passive, into the Ricochet, looking for the Grasping Root and the Boomerang Blade. Have Skarner coming in from the side as well, and if they're en route, you will be pulling him into them, but there's massive damage coming out from Candy Panda. Will they actually get this trade off? And we will have the Banana from Ezreal, finishing off that Civ here, in pretty much what is a 4 versus 2 situation, and they're still coming out ahead. Irelia also coming down for the support, bringing the total to 11 and 1 reclaimed kill.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. They did take down the tower, so that means they're going to be getting a even bigger advantage at the moment. They're 8k ahead, and so as being a sort of Singe-like character and pushing behind the enemy tower, they're now going to try to set up an ambush here for Mozilla. They have that ward up, so they are able to see him. So it's going to be going in with the stun. Cyanide going to be queuing in. It's going to get deep sample stuff. It's going to get the second tick off as well. Going to be going for this. Is he going to be going down? He will be going down as Cyanide uses his ultimate to secure that kill. Top tower does get picked up by the minions. And now Fnatic is at an even more impressive 9k advantage. 15 minutes into the game, that is a very, very sizable advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, look at the damage onto Janna. We will have the shield being popped, but look at the damage, bringing him down to about, what, 45% HP with those 2 bombs. And that was with the damage reduction, so yeah, it's looking very scary. We were talking about Zilean obviously scaling off, but when AP carries get killed, those kind of champions that do scale off, then the more kills they get, the longer it takes for them to scale off, and they will basically transition better into those periods of the game. And right now, Zilean is doing really well. He's got that chalice, so he's going to be able to spam out those bombs all day, and he's got a decent amount of AP as well, 143. Those bombs are really starting to burn. And AoE, so in that sieging situation that we were talking about before, he's going to be bringing a lot of utility, and we really haven't seen the synergy between Sion and the rest of his team yet, and that's really what's going to be scary. And even with like the rest of his team doing really well, yeah, when it transitions into that team fighting stage, it's just only going to get worse in my opinion.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard for Replika to come back from. So it's going to be running into the tank with a shield, not really caring about their damage, and going for that good old Phantom Dancer first build. Well, after the wriggles that is, but you know, going for the real 80 Sion build, because with that E passive you don't really need to build damage anyway. You can just go for crit chance and attack damage, and the Impale's going to go down, and Reddit taking so much damage will be going down. He's going to use his ultimate, but is that going to be enough? Soaz is in the middle of them, trying to do as much damage as he can. He will be taking down Jazz, or Jaff I should say, or Dave actually. Cyanide jumping into the tower to bomb his own Kazmich. They're going to just casually ignore him. Going to go for Bimbo now. Bimbo is going to be going into Ag form as Mozilla also gets picked up. They will be able to pick that bird up. They're going to mash that Ag. And Soaz going to be tanking the tower because he has the Zilean ultimate on him. In the meantime, Cyanide going to just keep going for just nerf me. Just nerf me. He's going to arcane shift away. Looks like he's going to be okay, but in the meantime, while that was a 4 versus 5, Candy Panda was pushing down bot tower and is going to be able to pick up the inner bot tower. That's kind of really good for Fnatic and really bad for Replika there.
Yeah, it was just a kind of show of strength as well. The fact it was a 4 versus 5 and they dove so hard. Lee Sin, that being Cyanide, jumping so far into the enemy base, practically at the Nexus turret, with the main, well, one of the large damage sources, that being Sivir, down the bottom pushing away. Yeah, what can they do? They can't win the fight at their turret on their own term. What do they have to wait for? Are they going to have to wait for Baron? That's what is going to be 6 minutes away. Can they wait that long? The answer is probably no. And look at the damage coming from Candy Panda, absolutely slicing through Mozilla and the Skarner. Xpeke coming in from the side as well. We'll be getting bursted. Credit Shift goes down, interrupting the team fight for just a second. And I don't think Candy Panda can really do too much to keep his ally alive. Just poking away. Got the vision as well from the enemy team. They are chasing after, looking for that movement speed buff as well. Sana coming from the north. They may look to trade off against this one. Boomerang Blade comes in, almost finishing off Mozilla. Damage reduction as it passes through Bimbo. That will be another kill for Xpeke as he picks up with that bomb. Now following after to just nerf me. Soaz looking for that stun, will be interrupting the animation. Kazmit flashing out, but meeting a Soaz on the way. Shield goes down, but it doesn't even matter because the auto attack will finish that one off. Sana looking to dive straight into the base once again. Speed boost from that time warp. Looking for the Tempest Cripple, knocks him back with the Dragon's Rage, and Mozilla will be picking that one up. Lee Sin just a bit too ballsy, not picking up those 2 kills. But it's got to be careful. Candy Panda's still there, alive and kicking, and he will just be pushing in that mid and the bottom turret simultaneously.
I think what Sana tried to do there is kick Aurelia or kick Azrael into Aurelia and pick up both kills with that, but it didn't quite work out for him. The Impale comes out, but Peke going to be able to survive because they simply killed the Skarner. That's a very doubt Scorpion. Now they're going to be going for it. Mozilla is going to be double queuing into it. Peke taking so low, and he's going to have 2 seconds for his ultimate. He does have his ultimate up. He's going to be using that on Soaz. That's the question. Soaz doing so much damage. 1v4ing here. Not really caring. Has the ultimate on him from Zilean now, and kind of wants to go down. Actually, no, he's going to turn on the shield. Well, he does heal quite... Wow. He heals quite a bit.
That heal. That heal.
That heal was quite ridiculous. He got 75% lifesteal, so that's probably why he's healing so much.
Raid boss Sion, yeah, I have to agree. Coming from Replika, it's just insane. He does have the problem with closing, but as we were talking about before, the synergy with the time warp on that Sion means he can gap close with ease. He's also got the increased attack speed and the movement speed from Candy Panda's ultimate. It's like, what can you do against Sion? As long as he has a decent early game, there's nothing you can do, and that will be the surrender vote coming in at 20 minutes 30. Wow, what an incredible first round here, Season.
Yeah, and that was exactly what I meant with Sion having a early game, a late game. He's just a beast. He jumps in the enemy team, completely destroyed everyone. And at the point that the Zilean ultimate came in, he didn't actually need it anymore because he was lifestealing so much he was going to be okay. There is a way to counter him. It's pretty easy. It's called Exhaust and or Ignite. But they still weren't able to pull it off, and, well, 7-0-4 kind of says a lot.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. So we are going to jump to a quick break, and when we get back, we will be looking potentially at the other bracket, or maybe the next round. So I have been Pulse, and has been C-Zone. So we will be signing off for the next few minutes. See you soon, and stay tuned.